Hello, Treehouse Book Clubbers. This is Miss C or Karen, however you happen to know me. And I'm here to introduce the next Treehouse Book Club book. The book for January is titled Amal Unbound. It is by Aisha Saeed. And this is the story of Amal, who is a young teenager who lives with her family in the country of Pakistan. Amal loves reading. She loves books. She loves school. And it's her goal to become a teacher when she grows up. But because there are lots of kids in her family and a new baby who's about to arrive, the family is having money troubles. So Amal ends up having to go to work for the family's landlord. And this isn't an ordinary job. Amal enters into what is known as indentured servitude. That means she works as a servant to earn back the money that her parents owe the landlord. In essence, it's a type of slavery. It's illegal in this country, it's illegal in most countries, but there's still a few where people get away with it. And Pakistan happens to be one of them. So I'm going to read you a little bit of the beginning of the story just to give you a flavor of it, and then I'll tell you some more about the activities I have planned for you. I watched from the window as the boys tumbled out of the brick schoolhouse across the field from us. Our class was running over. Again. Girls shifted in their seats and sneaked glances at the clock above the chalkboard. My friend Hafsa sighed. And finally, I have some bad news, Miss Sadia told us. She picked up a stack of papers from her desk. I finished grading your math tests, and only 5 of you passed. The class let out a collective groan. Now, she hushed us. This just means we have more work to do. We'll go over it tomorrow and take another test next week. Those questions were hard, my younger sister Seema whispered to me. We lined up by the chalkboard at the front of the class to get our tests. I should have stayed in the younger class until fall. Oh, come on. You know you probably passed, I whispered back. When have you ever failed an exam? Seema tugged at her sleeves as she walked up to Miss Sadia. It was only in the arms that you could see my old uniform was too big on her. Miss Sadia handed Seema the paper. As expected, Seema's worried expression shifted to a smile. Her steps were lighter before she slipped out of the classroom. I'm sorry I can't help today, I told Miss Sadia once the room was empty. This was my favorite part of the day, when everyone left it and it was just the two of us. The building felt like it had exhaled, expanding a little bit, without all 34 of us crammed two to a desk, filling up nearly every square inch of space. My mother is in bed again. Is the baby almost here? Yes, so my father says I have to come home and watch my sisters. I'll miss your help, Amal, but he's right. Family comes first. I knew helping family was what a good eldest daughter did, but this time after school with Miss Sadia wasn't just fun, it was important. I wanted to be a teacher when I grew up, and who better to learn from than the best teacher I've ever had? I loved washing the chalkboards, sweeping the floor, and hearing stories of her college days. I loved watching her go over her lessons and rework them based on what worked and what didn't the day before. I learned so much from watching her. How could my father not understand? I could still use your help with the poetry unit next week, she told me. Some of the students are grumbling about it. Think you could convince Hafsa to give it a chance? You know how she rallies the others to her side. She'll listen to you. I don't think she minds reading the poems. Writing them makes her nervous. You'd think everyone would be happy to write poetry. It's shorter than an essay. It's different. The great poets like Ghalib, Rumi, Iqbal, they had things to say. And don't you have things to say? Well, what I write about, I laughed. My little sisters, my father's sugarcane fields and orange groves. I love reading poems, but there's nothing for me to really write about. Our life is too boring. That's not true. Write about what you see. Write about your dreams. Pakistan was founded by the dreams of poets. Aren't we of the same earth? Miss Sadia's dramatic way of talking was one of the reasons I loved her, but I wasn't convinced. It's not that I wasn't proud of my family and our little life. I was lucky to belong to one of the more prosperous families in our Punjabi village. But it didn't change the fact that I lived in a village so tiny. It didn't even register as a dot on the map. But I promised I would talk to Hafsa. This is what I now remember most about my last afternoon at school. The smell of the dusty chalkboard, the sound of the students lingering outside the door, and mostly how easily I took my ordinary life for granted. So that's the first chapter, and you can tell by that things are about to change for Amal. And soon she will enter into the job that she doesn't want, but that she does to help her family, because, as her teacher said, family is important. Okay, on our webpage, you're going to find links to questions to think about as you're reading the book. Um, there's various things about the book, about the landlord who makes them all work for him, and a lot of other parts of the story. I also have 2 word puzzles. There's a word search and a crossword puzzle that you can do. These will be able to be downloaded from our webpage, from the Treehouse Book Club page. And if you cannot download them, if you don't have a way to print them at home, you can come to the library and we will have copies for you available. If we're still doing the curbside pickup, just call the library and tell them you want the Treehouse Book Club packet for Amal Unbound. Now, next month, we're going to read a different book, and this book is called The Truth About Mason Buttle. And this time, it's a boy protagonist. It's a boy main character, because we've done a lot of girls in this book club so far. So this one is about a boy. And I hope you've been enjoying reading the books. I know it's tough not being able to have our monthly meeting with our snacks and our discussions and our games, but hopefully by next season, we'll be able to do this in person again, and I look forward to having all my old friends back in Treehouse Book Club. Enjoy Amal Unbound and pick up your puzzles to work on, and I will see you next month. Bye-bye.